right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by saying, Kah Halayim La, Allahayinawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, Ma'amaf. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and willingly call God or Jehovah. Bahashem meaning in the name of. Yahweh Shai meaning he who delivers, who the world ignorantly and willingly call JC today. I want to give a double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. And I want to give a double honor to my elder as well, Harwan bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to 144,000 hopeful elect, pushing this truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bashim Shah, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson entitled Serpents and Scorpions. But kind of before I get started, basically I want to say that serpents and scorpions, basically serpents being Edomites. Shalaki, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Serpents being Edomites, and those that follow after his philosophies. And you got wicked 2/3 niggas of our nation being scorpions, and I'm gonna prove that in this lesson. But before I'm gonna start. Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse 1. And he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And a spirit entered into me when he spake unto me, and set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this day. Right? You got 2/3 of our people at the time of Ezekiel. They basically was rebelling against the Lord, via their forefathers went off first, and basically bore children that continued in their transgression, not repenting and turning to the Lord. But it says they have transgressed against me even unto this day, and still unto this very day. They transgressing against the Lord's laws, not even knowing what's going on, not caring. They're in the midst of a spiritual battle, not even caring, or what the case may be, transgressing against the Lord, falling out the philosophies and all type of things. But it says, verse 4, For they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, right? And that's what we do when we get out there, just like Ezekiel was sent out. The Lord has sent us out there as well. We out there prophesying, preaching and teaching to our people week in and week out, trying to bring sheep into the Lord's fold and marking the 2/3 of Israel, and marking 2/3 of Israel crucify Yahweh Shai. But they stiff-hearted, they hard-headed children, basically. Verse 5, And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. Right? The Lord told us to go out there, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. And he sent, prophets out there first, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. When we out there, they just walk past and go on about their lives, not knowing that they're going to be destroyed. Not knowing that they're not going to have any comforter in the days to come, not knowing, that it's a prophet among them. But it said, Yet shall they know that there have been a prophet among them. They're going to know that a prophet had been among them when all hell break loose. And a prophet means to say before. And we've been telling them about the CBDC. We've been telling them about the race wars, the riots. We've been telling them about the food shortages. You see what I'm saying? We've been telling about this devil coming down with great wrath, this serpent, this dragon. That same serpent in the garden that grew to be a 7-headed dragon via these, his countries, man. But what it says, Yet shall they know that there have been a prophet among them. Verse 6 is the point. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words, though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, so they be a rebellious house. All right. The Lord have likened 2/3 of our people into scorpions, man, because they didn't, rebelled and went up under every green tree, playing a harlot, or what the case may be, falling after all these philosophies, man, when the Lord have espoused us to one husband. But it says, Though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. All right, don't be afraid of their words, and don't be dismayed at their looks. And when I thought about this, when I was reading this chapter, it made me think about, in Chicago, the projects. When you finna walk up on the projects, it's always like 30 niggas standing in front of the main entrance. Because there's only two exits, the back door and the front door. It's always like 30, 40 niggas standing in front, drinking, getting high, gang banging, all of, they all got their color on or whatever the case may be. That's how it was when I was growing up. And, in the 2000s, 2002, a good depiction of that is a project that I'm speaking about. Right across the street from it is where they shot the movie Hardball at, where Fat Jet was running with the pizza. Right? Yeah, that same location. I think those burnt down. They built some more across the street. But where Fat Jet was running with the pizza, he got beat up over the case may be. That's exactly how it was looking back then. It had like 30, 40 niggas in front of the apartment complex. And that's what I thought about when I was reading this scripture. It said, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, as though they be a rebellious house. All right, the Lord has sent us out there, no matter how they look, no matter what they say. He told us to go out there, preach and teach and edify, and fish. But very soon, those same fishers will be hunters, and 2/3 of our people won't be protected, by those hunters, because the Lord ain't gonna give us power to just do what we want to do. He gonna give us power to, protect ourselves, our family, and his sheep. Protect the weak, those that don't have power, those that just believed on the word, but then go out there and do the work. It's always gonna be a job to do while we here. Verse 7, and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious, right? 2/3 of our people are most rebellious, and we was amongst those once before, but Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3, the Lord took us away from them speedily, and now, we prophesy and preaching and teaching, to the, trying to fish out the Lord's elect, the Lord's righteous, but God, 2/3 of our people are scorpions, man. Let's go to Genesis chapter 3 and 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh have made. And he said unto the woman, have Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Right? And the Lord, back then he told us basically don't be following the philosophies of the other nations, man. Because once you follow philosophies, because back then the only thing we knew was righteousness, before Adam went off and, followed after Eve, and now he brought sin into the world. What world? The same world in John 3:16. The cosmos, not the whole world, because the other nations was always going off. But like it says, over all nations have the Lord set kingdoms, kings and rulers, but Israel is the Lord's portion. So Israel was righteous at the time until basically Adam followed Eve. You had a nation called the Adamites, but it says, but the fruit of the tree was in the midst of the garden. Yahweh has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. What it says, verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for Yahweh doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. All right, so he was trying to beguile Eve to get her to follow after the philosophies of the other nations, man. And that's just what it is. And it says, verse 6, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was plenteous to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Just like you eat up the Lord's words, what it says. I believe in that same chapter, Ezekiel chapter 2. I'm gonna go back to it. Just like you can eat up the Lord's words, Evil's eating up wickedness, man, and basically falling after the nations, putting on philosophies. But what it says, verse 7, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Right. So when their eyes was open, because basically they knew evil, now once they know that they're naked. So imagine this. Imagine I lead a Christian church, because I see some Egyptologists over there, right? And they over there preaching whatever they preach. And next thing you know, I go follow after them. And next thing you know, I get over there and I found out they more wicked than the people in the Christian church. So I just say, man, I don't believe in nothing, And then somebody come up to you one day and say, hey, what you believe in? And the first thing that come to your mind is, I'm a Muslim. You see what I'm saying? You knew that you was naked, so the first thing you did was put on fig leaves and made yourself an apron. You just put on anything. You see what I'm saying? Put on a new philosophy, or whatever the case may be, instead of, seeking the old path and calling on Yahweh Shema Shah and walking in the old ways, like it says in the book of Jeremiah chapter 6, I believe. But let me go back to that. Well, that was Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 2, start at verse 8. Okay. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 6. Ezekiel chapter 2 and verse 8, I'm going to go all to verse 10. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. Right. So the Lord has said, open thy mouth and eat what I give thee. And when I looked, and behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mournings and woe. Right. This book, the Lord gave us these scriptures, and he gave it to Ezekiel to eat up. Just like Eve was eating up philosophies and doctrines in Genesis chapter 3. Ezekiel chapter 2, Ezekiel was eating up the book that the Lord gave him, mournings, lamentation, and woe. So when he ate the book, it was written therein, mournings, lamentations, and woe. So I don't know what all these Christian church preaching, you're going to have this, and that, mournings, lamentations. Lamenting is to be crying. Mourning is to be going through it and to be sad. Woe means destruction. And that was written within the book, even though we know we're going to get the blessings in Revelations chapter 21 and 22 when the Lord reigned. But right now we still in that fighting period, in a womb, basically, waiting for the Lord's prophecies to play out. But come on, let's see. Let me get that right quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 3, evils beguiles, serpents and scorpions is a lesson. But I fear, verse 1, would to God ye could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. Right, the Lord is jealous over Israel with godly jealousy. That's why every time we go off, he quick to send us into slavery. He quick to bring a nation that's going to get us back right. That's his way of smacking us. You see what I'm saying? Like, get right. You tripping. It says, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. Right? So the Lord, he jealous over us with godly jealousy, so he going to chasten us as sons. He espoused us to one husband. What's going to happen if a woman cheat on her husband? You see what I'm saying? In the old world, she going to get put to death. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the Lord do to us every time we, wander under every green tree playing the harlot. 1 minute you a Muslim, 1 minute you a Buddhist, 1 minute you an atheist, 1 minute you all over the place. You got so many philosophies out here, you can't even name them all in one video. This video will be 10 hours long. But it says, I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. Right, the Lord he want to present us as a chaste virgin. And let me get that in Revelation 14. On what the Lord's elect would be presented as. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their forehead. Right, so the Lord's elect going to have his father's name, Yahweh, written in their foreheads, And It's a difference between having the Lord's name written in your forehead, having the Lord's name. To have the Lord's name mean you're going to believe on the Lord's name. You're going to have that fear that come with it. You're going to reverence him as a father. You got those people that you got those that sowed seed and fell upon thorns, or whatever the case may be. You can call on the Lord's name one minute, then you out there just being a nigga again. You see what I'm saying? But the ones that have the Lord's name written in their foreheads, they gonna have that fear that come with it, knowing that they can't do certain things. They can't do what everybody else doing, because what? The Lord gonna bring them mournings, lamentations, and woe on us. But it says, verse 2, and I heard a voice of heaven and a voice of many waters and a voice of great thunders, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth, right? And that's just what it is. We singing that new song because that song was once piped to us, and once that song was piped to us, we started dancing. You see what I'm saying? Basically, now we out here teaching. Now we out here preaching. Now we out here reading. Now we turned away from our folly. Now we done repented of our sins and turned away from our sins and start walking in that old path in Jeremiah chapter 6, seeking out the old way. When our forefathers was righteous, that, we seeking after that way that the Lord gave our forefathers, basically, and we trying our best to serve the Lord with fear and trembling. But it says no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. Right, we're not going to be defiled with women. Women being, if you want to, get a good depiction of that, you got to go to Proverbs chapter 3 or Proverbs chapter 4. And it talked about strange women, talked about doctrines and philosophies and all these different doctrines and philosophies out here. Strange women. We don't dolly with strange women. We virgins in the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, because we pure in this doctrine. We pure in this word. We're not following after all these, many philosophies that's set up every day. Verse 4 again, these are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. Right, man? We're going to be redeemed among men. We're going to be beamed up into them chariots. We're going to put on righteousness as a garment. You see what I'm saying? The Lord going to give us those new bodies, and we ain't going to ever be able to go off again. He ain't going to be able to pay us or trick us or beguile us into, being defiled with a strange doctrine, trying to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be pure. We ain't going to have to sow no fig leaves and try to hide under, all these false ways. We're going to follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. Verse 5, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the Lord. We are without fault before the throne of Yahweh, right, man? We're going to be without fault, no guile found in our mouth. We're not going to add to the Lord's word. We're not going to take away from the Lord's word. We're not going to use the Lord's word to gain like these other camps do. They can't never just go out there and preach the word just because they want to be saved. It's always something. It's always a gimmick. Always got something to sell. Always, you know what I'm saying? Got to add something in there so people can worship them. I'm going to go back to that 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3 again. But I fear lest by any means, but what the scripture said, the Lord have espoused us to one husband. I'm going to get verse 2. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. Right. That's what we striving to be. That's why we get out there and do this work. That's why we keep the laws to the best of our ability. That's why we serve the Lord with fear and trembling. Verse 3. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. Right, and that ain't gonna happen, because nobody's gonna ever be able to pluck the Lord's elect out of the Lord's hand. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna be beguiled with that Revelation 13-16, that chip. We're not gonna be beguiled or deceived by the miracles, that this devil bringing via his AI, all his ways that he can, make a man whole again through his chip. Verse 4. For if he that cometh preacheth another Yahushua, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit which we have not received, right? We have the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. 2/3 of our people, they got the spirit of the world. The Lord has set the world in their hearts. That's why they can't learn that new song that the 144,000 know. That same song that we out there preaching day in and day out. They looking dumbfounded. And when they do hear the song, when the affliction comes, some of them just can't handle it, so they just go back into the world. But it says, which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with them, right? So we're going to be fools for Hamashiach's sake, man. We're not going to be beguiled by this devil. He ain't going to be able to, get us to go off again. Our eyes open now. We watching everything, because we know any time you could slip and fall into the pit. But we love the Lord, man, so we ain't going to be beguiled. We're going to constantly pray, and we got Yahushua praying for us. But Matthew chapter 10, verse 16, Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? We watching now, man, because we know there's so many philosophies out here. We fighting a whole spiritual battle. You see what I'm saying? We fighting a whole spiritual battle. At this point, you gotta keep your eyes open, because it's all type of tactics out there these days. So now you gotta be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove, for the time being, until the Lord tell us to switch it up. But for right now, that's just what it is. Wise as serpents and harmless as dove, because you got this devil constantly trying to beguile you and trick you and get you to go off and get you to go against the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, man. That same serpent. Because Revelation chapter 12. Dang, where did I start at? Start at verse 1. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right, going into the time basically of Herod. When Yahushua was born, Herod was moving like a serpent, man. And that's the title of this lesson, Serpents and Scorpions. Herod was moving like a serpent. He was basically talking to the Lord's wise man, saying, when the Lord's wise man went up to him, he was like, man, where's the king? So I can go and worship him and bless him and send him this and that, moving like a serpent. But the wise man was smart. They were like, nah, man, if we tell him about the king Yahushua being born, he gonna go try to kill the baby, because they knew that once we got a king, we was gonna do what we do. The king was set up to they knew the prophecies about the king, about Yahushua being born to basically rule all nations. So Herod, once he heard that, he was wroth, and the first thing he wanted to do is kill Yahushua. To the point where what it says, to the point where Mary and Joseph had to flee into Egypt and hide in Egypt, because it was Israelites in Egypt as well at that time. And what Herod did during that time, he went throughout the midst of the cities, and he slew and he killed all the babies 2 and under. It was great mourning in Israel. The elder just did a lesson on that. I believe that was Christmas Day, I believe. Where was I? Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Yahweh and to the throne. Right, so Yahweh was born, and he was meant to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Let a Christian tell it, the Lord coming back with kisses and hugs. He is for his elect, the same ones that in their heart was found no guile. But other than that, everybody else, it's a wrap for you, basically. But it says, and a woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Right, the same dragon. From way back when, from way back from the garden, started off as a little serpent and grew to be a 7-headed dragon. Now this dragon in heaven. How'd you get there? You see what I'm saying? Obadiah. Let me see. I'm going to come back to this. So just remember this. Just proving how this devil got here. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, concerning Edom, that serpent. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Right, the Lord had made these devils small. Verse 3, can't have babies for nothing. Verse 3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, who saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Right, you exalt yourself as an eagle. You got a damn space force. You got satellites all in heaven. You try to set your nest among the stars. What's that, Isaiah 14? Exalt yourself over the Israelites as well. You're doing all these things, and you say in your heart, who shall bring thee down to the ground? What it says, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. Right, so the Lord is going to bring you down. The Lord is going to bring you down to the pit, man. Isaiah chapter 14. And now I'm going to go back to Revelations 12, and I believe it's verse 6. Or verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels. Right. Things going to get so bad that the Lord going to have to send Michael, the archangel, to stand up for us, the children of his people, stand up for the Israelites. That's why you see these giant chariots. These big chariots and all these chariots flying over the Lord's elect. When we out praying and prophesying, or we outside just chilling, watching. The Lord got our angels, his angels watching over us, basically. But that's the point. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angel. Go Google SpaceX dragon. Elon Tusk, him. That's SpaceX dragon. That's what they call the Space Force, SpaceX dragon. Verse 9. But it says they fought, and the dragon prevailed not. Neither was his place found any more into heaven. He gonna fall into the pit. Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Right, the great dragon. That old serpent, the same serpent from the garden, drew to be a 7-headed dragon, man. NATO gonna fall, America gonna fall, all these nations gonna fall. But it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, right? Because devil just means deceiver. So you got to understand who deceived the whole world, and Satan, a damn deceiver, man. Deceived the whole world, thinking that when you die, you go to hell and burn forever. See what I'm saying? When the scriptures say your souls regenerate to the third and fourth generations, or just set up the Lord's images as a so-called white man. You see what I'm saying? Crucify the Lord. Here in America again. Taking away his name and setting up Zeus, hell Zeus. When the Lord's name is Yahweh, and that's who we pray to. But it says, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Mashiach, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And that's what they do in their court systems, man. That's what they do. That's what they do day and night. They accuse us before the Lord. You see what I'm saying? But verse 11 is the point. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives to the death. Right, and that's just what it is. We don't care about our lives here. That's why we get up there and we say whatever we want to say, and this devil can't do nothing to us. You see all these crypto millionaires dying. You see what I'm saying? You seeing all these whistleblowers coming out dying. But us, guess what? We can say whatever we want to say. And these devils scared, man. They heart beating. They scared because they know that we telling the truth. And they know that we're going to overcome them by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And we love not our lives unto death, man. But it says, verse 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And right, even though he's scared, he still gonna try to come down on us having great wrath, because he know that he have a short time. He gonna swing his sword one last time because he know what's coming. He know that he can't be, forgiven for his sins. Only, he gonna pay back double of everything that he did. Just like we had to pay back for, the sins of our forefathers. We had to go through this rigorous captivity. So this devil know that his time next. He gonna be Isaiah 14. He gonna fall into that pit. Isaiah 14:9. But he gonna come down having that great. He gonna come down having that great wrath because he know he have but a short time. So that's why we're gonna be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And Salakia, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. Well, Khan, we going to the chariots basically. Let's see, Salakia. I'm all over the place. But Khan, the devil shall come down having great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time. I'm gonna go back a chapter. I'm gonna start at Revelation chapter 11 and verse 3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees standing. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Talking about the northern tribes and the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. I was about to say the northern tribes and the southern tribes, but kind of same thing. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The 12 tribes of Israel coming back together. Those 2 sticks. But it says these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Verse 5 is the point, because the devil shall come down having great wrath because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Right, so that's just what it is. The Lord, he's standing on business, man. He going to do what he say he going to do. So, we don't have to go out there with no guns or go out there and protest for no food. Only thing we have to do is just go our way. When the Lord cut off the time, for this word to be given, then it's just that. We're just going to sit back and we're just going to let the husbandman take care of us, Verse 6, these had power to shut heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and had power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast, that same dragon, that same serpent, that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Going into this time, basically, some brothers are going to have to lose their life for this thing, and that's just what it's going to be. Some brothers are going to lose their life for the word of the Lord, via these concentration camps, guillotines, or whatever the case may be, just like we was losing our life during the time of the Renaissance or during the time of all these, when the Lord, gave this devil dominion again, same thing gonna happen. Just like it happened before. No new thing under the sun, man. We gonna go through it just like we was going through it in our past lives, or whatever the case. Salakia. But let's see. That was 6. Got Yahweh Shai in all things, though, man. So we're going to be good. Serpents and Scorpions. Luke chapter 10 and verse 19, last precept. Behold, I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you, right? So the Lord is going to give certain brothers spiritual power, so we can be able to protect his sheep, our family, and ourselves, take care of his sheep. You see what I'm saying? Do what we got to do and constantly build up, because in that time, people going to be searching for the word. They're going to be running from sea to sea looking for the word, but they ain't going to be able to find it, but the elect, the Lord's elect, those that, believes on the word, whether we be, some brothers going to be by themselves, and, the Lord going to have some brothers like real, I'm trying to think of that word, shepherds, over the Lord's flock. So the Lord's flock going to constantly receive oil and constantly receive water and get built up daily. We're going to be teaching daily. You see what I'm saying? We're never going to stop teaching. We're going to occupy until the Lord come. But his sheep, man, they're going to constantly receive it. But it says, I will give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you, man. So the Lord gonna give us that power to tread on these serpents, these Edomites, these devils, these dragons, you know what I'm saying? And scorpions, 2/3 of our own people that's joined into those devils, that's gonna take it in their hand. Because once they take it, this devil can, send out a frequency to, with our pictures and our faces all over it, saying this man did this, find him and bring him to me dead or alive. Whether they be a wicked Israelite with it in their hand, or whether they be a serpent, they gon' have one job, to come and find us and do what they got to do. And that's just what it is. Once you take it, it don't matter. The Lord said he going to give us power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So, that was the lesson. I pray that it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Double honor to my elder as well, Ahar One, bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect pushing this truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Shalom. DTA, Abab, Shalom.